Colorado has been a hotbed of criminal activity since the Wild West days of the mid to late 1800s. The Sands Creek Massacre of 1864, Alfred Packer the Cannibal in 1874, Doc Holliday's shootout in 1884, Butch Cassidy's first bank robbery in 1889, the Cripple Creek miners' strike in 1894, just to name a few. The state was largely populated by a gold rush after gold was discovered in Denver in 1859. Speaking of Denver, this case takes place in Jefferson County, which borders on Denver County and includes many of the state capital's suburbs. Turns out that Jeffco Schools, as the locals refer to the school district in Jefferson County, didn't get word that the Wild West days were over. If you think that school district name sounds familiar, it might be because Columbine High School is part of this district. Jeffco Kids First Advocacy Group, or JKF, a local community watchdog group that works to protect the children, has discovered almost 30 cases of teacher misconduct with students between 2022 and 2025. Many of these district employees had been reported to the school district, and appropriate measures to remove them from classrooms and turn them over to the local authorities was not done. This led to several investigations, arrests, and some convictions of these now former employees. In this video, we will discuss 5 of them. 28-year-old Imagine Kay Ewer, a paraprofessional who sexually assaulted a 16-year-old special needs student. 29-year-old Fernando Robles-Luevanos, a family liaison and coach who sexually assaulted 2 boys under 15 years of age. 28-year-old Castro, who sexually assaulted a 14-year-old student. 38-year-old James Michael Chevier, the school psychologist who sexually assaulted students. And last, but definitely not least, is David Weiss, the Jeffco chief of schools, who killed himself while being investigated for possessing CSAM. Let's jump in, take a look at this county, these schools, and these cases. First, we'll set the scene with a look at the county and the schools right after my overly obnoxious trigger warning. Roll the intro.
My girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? In the pines where the sun don't ever shine. I will shiver the whole night through. My girl, where will you go? I am going where the cold wind blows. In the pines, where the sun don't ever shine. Shiver.
Jefferson County, which was founded as part of the gold rush in the 1850s and 60s and is nestled in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, borders the state capital of Denver. Here's a map of counties in the area. I live in Douglas County. This case takes place in Jefferson County. Denver County is the oddly shaped dark green county. Since this video is looking at an overall CSA problem with the school district, let's take a few moments and familiarize ourselves with this school district. Jeffco School District is responsible for overseeing 145 schools, including 18 charter schools, 2 online schools, and 2 outdoor lab schools. 107 of these schools are traditional elementary, middle, or high schools. The district is responsible for about 75,000 students, which is facilitated by 4,449 faculty and staff members, which is about 1 staff or faculty member for every 17 students, but only a fraction of those people are teachers. The 64% white student population is overseen by a 5-member school board. Union-backed, Democratic-leaning Mary Parker from District 5 is currently the board president. Her term ends in 2025. Union-backed, Democratic-leaning Paula Reed from District 2 is currently the board first vice president. Her term ends in 2025. Union-backed, Democratic-leaning Danielle Varda from District 1 is currently the treasurer. Her term ends in 2025. Union-backed, Democratic-leaning Michelle Applegate from District 3 is currently the treasurer. Her term ends in 2027. Union-backed, Democratic-leaning Erin Kenworthy from District 4 is currently the second vice president. Her term ends in 2027. The district's school safety program is nationally recognized. Here are some clips from a video the district made about their safety program.
No status check, status, please.
The duty to protect. If you were to take a look at everything we do, it's around the duty to protect. We have a community that demands that we have a gold standard for school safety, and we have a training academy for all administrators. We have a robust team with 5 different divisions. Campus security is our campus team that basically works at our secondary schools. You'll see them work in the front door. The second piece I'll talk about is our emergency management team. They handle all the drill. The third team I'll talk about is our patrol team. And so their job is really to go out and respond to any incident that comes up. Dispatch is an amazing group of individuals who take all the calls. It's thousands and thousands of calls they take every single year. And then finally, our threat management team. They work directly with our judicial system.
The advocacy group, Jeffco Kids First, found 26 cases of hiring, firing, reporting, grooming, misconduct, and sexual abuse cases since 2022. Several of the cases originally reported by JKF involve individuals responsible for oversight and management of the district. Plenty of them involve teachers as well. Several of these cases have resulted in the arrests and in some cases convictions of the individuals involved. Let's take a look at 5 of these cases while we ask, is Jeffco School District a CSA problem? I'll start with Imagine Kay Ewer, whose case was first reported through the district's Safe to Tell program. On the list of good decisions 28-year-old Imagine Kay Ewer has made in her life, she goes by her middle name of Kay. Ewer has worked for Jeffco Schools since 2015. In that time, she's held the positions of school nurse, teaching assistant, and most recently paraprofessional. Ewer was kept on staff even though there had been several reports of her questionable conduct with students over the years. I do not have details of these reports. In August of 2023, she accepted a paraprofessional position at Brady Exploration School in Lakewood, Colorado. The school is ranked 23rd of 28 high schools in the county and only has a 10% graduation rate. A paraprofessional is basically a school employee who works with students that have an individualized education plan, or IEP, which stipulates they should receive extra assistance. This means that every student Ewer had direct contact with was a special needs student. The victim in this case was one of Ewer's 16-year-old students. In November of 2023, just months after Ewer began working at Brady Exploration School, a teacher noticed inappropriate writing on one of the victim's worksheets and called the authorities. This caused Ewer's immediate dismissal from the school. As police investigated the situation, they discovered that Ewer's favoritism of the student was noticed just 1 month after she began in this position. They also discovered evidence that Ewer entered into an abusive relationship with the student beginning in September. Through the course of the investigation, police uncovered tens of thousands of text messages between the victim and Ewer. These messages included Ewer talking about the two engaging in sex, sharing illicit substances with the victim, including fentanyl, and even encouraging the victim to bring a gun to school to shoot a co-worker in the leg. Ewer also consistently made derogatory remarks toward the victim. This led to Ewer being arrested in January of 2024 on 5 felony counts: sexual assault on a child by someone in a position of trust, sexual exploitation of a child, unlawful electronic sexual communication, and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. In November of 2024, Ewer pleaded guilty to sexual assault on a child by one in a position of trust and contributing to the delinquency of a minor in the first degree. The remaining charges were dropped as part of the plea agreement. On January 31st, 2025, Ewer was sentenced to 5 years in prison and 10 years to life on the sex offender registry, which includes probation. The next case involves family liaison and coach Luis Fernando Robles-Luevanos and 2 male middle school students. Brighton Middle School in Lakewood, Colorado has 794 students. 57% of the students are minorities. 24% of the students are proficient in math. 36% are proficient in reading. And they are ranked 22nd out of 38 middle schools in the district. Luis Fernando Robles-Luevanos was their family liaison and a coach at the school. Part of his job was acting as an interpreter for families with adults that only spoke Spanish. This brought him into regular contact with students whose families recently moved to the U.S. from Mexico and were unaware of standard operating procedures. Robles-Luevanos is 27 years old, and prior to working for the school district, his criminal arrests included shoplifting in Castle Rock in 2014, criminal mischief in Denver in 2016, and trespassing in Denver in 2019. The district states that they were aware of these arrests, but they were not disqualifying charges. Even though the trespassing charges stem from a hotel where after he was fired, he used a master key card to enter rooms that were occupied by guests. Robles-Luevanos took boys into his office. He told the boys he had to administer a physical exam on them. As I've already mentioned, these boys were new to the country and unaware that this was not a normal scenario for them to be placed in. So the boys listened to a well-liked man who was in a position of trust. Once in his office, the boys were told to strip to their underwear, at which point Robles-Luevanos would fondle their genitals. This came to light when 2 of the boys' families came forward and reported the incidents. Following that, a 3rd boy came forward who narrowly escaped the molestation, as for an unknown reason, the exam did not happen after he was in the office. Robles-Luevanos was arrested and charged with 2 counts of sexual assault on a child by one in a position of trust and is currently awaiting trial. Now let's learn about the school's social worker and counselor who molested a male student. Chloe Castro was a counselor at Manning and Drake Middle Schools as well as Wheat Ridge High School. Prior to this, she held the same position at Three Creeks K-8 school. The 28-year-old Castro started in her position at the middle and high schools in August of 2024. The allegations came to light on October 29th of 2024. She worked at Three Creeks from January of 2022 until May of 2024. Prior to that, she was a social-emotional learning specialist at Columbia Hills and Lakewood Elementary Schools from August of 2021 until January of 2022. When the victim's parents confiscated his phone, they found Instagram messages between Castro and the victim. They also found inappropriate text messages between the victim and a contact named Jeremy who just happened to share a phone number with Castro. The parents knew Castro from the school. The parents promptly reported this to police, but their son had used another device to log out of Instagram and change the password. When police interviewed the victim, he confirmed that Jeremy was actually Castro. He also revealed that he met Castro at the end of 6th grade and she later asked him to be her boyfriend. The victim also revealed details of a plan for the two to move to New Mexico and create a life together. The victim knew Castro was married, but she always dreamed of being in a throuple, which her husband supported. Castro was terminated from her position and is still awaiting trial for these charges. Now let's learn about the school psychologist accused of sexual assault in Jeffco schools. 38-year-old James Michael Chevier was a school psychologist for the Jeffco School District. He worked at Green Mountain High School from 2023 to 2025 and Bear Creek High School from 2024 to 2025. Prior to this, he worked at Evergreen High School from 2022 to 2023. Before that, he worked at Cherry Creek School District from 2021 to 2022. On May 9, 2025, a Safe to Tell report came in accusing Chevier of sexually assaulting a female student. Chevier was immediately placed on administrative leave and has since been terminated by the school district. Chevier's arrest affidavit is sealed by the courts, so details on his crimes and arrest are limited. Here is what we do know. He was in possession of illicit substances when he was arrested. He was charged with sexual assault on someone under 15 by one in a position of trust, soliciting child prostitution, and drug charges. He is being held in Lakewood Correctional Facility without bond. Finally, the Jeffco chief of schools who purchased and possessed CSAM. Prior to David Weiss's use of Bitcoin to purchase CSAM coming to the attention of authorities, he was the chief of schools for the Jeffco School District. In this position, Weiss was responsible for operational leadership of the district. His duties included instructional and operational cohesion, leadership development and supervision, and most frighteningly, culture building. Yeah, you heard that right. The dude that was in charge of building the culture in the entire school district purchased CSAM with Bitcoin. A financial firm tipped authorities off to evidence that Weiss had made these purchases. Weiss was immediately dismissed by the district while authorities searched all electronic devices associated with him to determine the scope of his crimes. Eventually, authorities determined that Weiss did not have any direct criminal contact with underage people. They also confirmed his purchase and possession of the CSAM. Shortly before the 2025 New Year, Weiss was found dead in Maryland from reportedly self-inflicted wounds. Let's learn a little more about JKF. According to the About Us page of the JKF website, their mission is to preserve our children's future by securing their present. Their vision is to empower parental voice through respectful partnerships between school leaders, educators, and parents and ensure a bright future for all children throughout Jefferson County School District. JKF began investigating the district after they uncovered the case of Leanne Kearney, a social studies teacher at Columbine High School who sexually assaulted a 17-year-old student. The abuse was discovered by the student's parents, who found text messages, emails, and letters between their child and Kearney. They reported it to the school district immediately. In response, the school district got the victim classified as a homeless student and moved them in with another teacher at the school to cover up the crimes. Kearney's National Guard unit was activated and she was deployed outside the U.S. while the student was living with another teacher. When Kearney's deployment ended and she returned to the U.S., she and her victim took up residence together in another state. JKF created a press release that they published on X, which went viral and led to national news coverage. Working with other advocacy groups across the state, JKF conducted an investigation that led to the discovery of widespread misconduct, including hiring educators with a history of misconduct, failing to enforce background checks, and ignoring mandatory reporting laws. This investigation led to at least 2 of the arrests covered in this video. This investigation not only led to the 26 cases of misconduct I've already mentioned, but also led to statewide failures in the education system. Let's wrap this video up, shall we? So why hasn't the state launched a full-scale investigation into this school district? Why is the school district still operating under business as usual status? JKF is definitely a right-leaning group as they have successfully fought against the district conducting gender identity surveys without the parents' knowledge. With the number of right-leaning officials who are being arrested and convicted for sexual crimes against both adults and children, I am suspicious of this group, while I do openly admit they have done good things. However, this is not an excuse for the state not to conduct a thorough and wide-ranging investigation into the schools in Jefferson County. If the misconduct is actually being facilitated by the schools in this county, we need to uncover that and put a fucking stop to it. If the misconduct is not being facilitated by the schools, we need to uncover that and put a stop to the rumors of it. Without the investigation, it looks like not only is the district guilty, but the state is actually assisting them. What do you think about all this? Let me know in a comment. Remember, as always, super thanks channel memberships are super cool, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now, I got a jam, so tag, you are it. Jeffco Kids First, Advocacy. These messages included Ewer talking about the two engaging in sex, sharing illicit substances, including fentanyl, with the victim. Parents promptly reported this to the police.